I'm Dr. Devontae Horn, and this is my industry problem. One of the things I really struggled with growing up was figuring out my place and understanding where I fit in. I didn't really know what opportunities were available for students like me.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Welcome to our August 2020 demo day. So for those of you who are just joining us, we are Mentor, and what we do is we build problem-based online learning experiences to connect the real world to what students are learning in class. So before I get started, I'll go ahead and turn on my video just so you guys can kind of see me. Hey everyone, my name is Nate. I'm the co-founder of Mentor. Ron here is as well. He's also the co-founder. We will be presenting this demo day, in which we have some pretty fantastic student performances that we're ready to show you guys. So for those of you just joining, welcome. So we are Mentor, and we are building problem-based learning experiences that connect real world topics to the things that students learn in class. So the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to be first starting off with a brief presentation of who we are, what we do, and then I'll hand it over to the students for them to talk about what they've been working on. And then at the end of the student presentations, we'll have another brief presentation on what to expect for the next couple of months with regards to the Mentor program, as well as a sweet little bonus offer at the very end. Throughout the course of this event, please feel free to ask questions, drop them into the chat, and they will go directly to us, and we will answer them as they come up. So I'm keeping an eye here on the chat so I can kind of answer questions as they come up. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So the reason why we started Mentor was that over the next 5 years, we saw a large number of challenges that were going to directly impact education kind of as we know it right now. For example, we see a skyrocketing need for critical thinking and problem-solving skills. This is largely driven by the advent of artificial intelligence and the increased degree of automation in the workforce, which places a higher stress on interdisciplinary problem solving than just rote knowledge. The second is that higher college tuition costs were increasing at a higher rate than ever before. Right now, cost of attending a four-year university is increasing at 8 times the amount of the average wage, meaning that the cost of attending college is outstripping our ability to pay for it. And thirdly, there's, of course, an immediate need for distance learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so to address this issue, there's a number of online content providers that you guys are probably relatively familiar with, Khan Academy, Coursera, among them. However, these providers do have a couple of fundamental disadvantages that we kind of wanted to address. The first being that if you have a question when you're learning, if you have a question and you want to get an answer, getting a fast answer is either impractical or getting an answer in general just takes too long. This is a nice way of saying that it's really not very practical to pay for a tutor to sit next to you for 8 hours a day and give you an immediate answer when you want it. That's just not financially possible for most people. The second is that education in general does a relatively poor job of communicating why you're learning what you're learning. And this has a detrimental effect on memory retention. But also on top of that, I mean, it has a really detrimental effect on motivation to sit in class or to stare at a Zoom screen and learn if you don't really know why you're learning what you're learning. And so our objective with Mentor was to create a learning experience that really addressed these two fundamental issues and provided, number one, really fast feedback, and number two, encapsulated that in a highly relevant learning experience. And so what we did was we took somewhat of an unorthodox approach where we wanted to start with the problems that students are really passionate about solving, things like increasing diversity or starting a clothing company or tracking a pandemic. These are the things that students want to solve, and then work backwards into the applications of current class material to help them achieve these goals. And so what that looks like in practice is if this is our course interface, we are able to put industry problems right alongside the course content that students are going to be going through. And at the end of every course, what we do is we ask students to either to draw inspiration from these industry problems and either take them further or come up with their own industry problem that they can solve using some of the concepts that they've used and learned throughout the course. For example, this can be anything from using the concept of derivatives to determine your supply chain costs for a t-shirt clothing company, and which ultimately will raise funds to help low-income kids attend college. Or it could be more technical, where you're using the concept of integrals to calculate the power density required to help someone walk again using a robotic exoskeleton. The point, though, is give students an opportunity to solve real-world problems using calculus and do that in a way that communicates the relevance of calculus, but also helps you learn calculus a little bit faster. So with that, that brings us to Demo Day here. Demo Day is where the students are presenting the work that they've done. And at this point, they've gone through a large number of industry problems, seen here on the right and left, and they've drawn inspiration from these problems. And now they're going to present to you the work that they've done to try to make the world perhaps just a little bit of a better place or shine a light on topics that currently are being explored and highly relevant to society today. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first presenter, Lakita. Do you want to go ahead and start us off?